Good afternoon, New Hope Online. It's great to see you, and it's great to have you join us this afternoon. This is Unscripted, a weekly segment of conversations with people in our community and a part of our church. We get to hear stories and perspectives, and simply it's just an opportunity for us to get to know one another and in this atmosphere, in this environment, in this setting. If you are tuning in or streaming with us right now, don't forget to like and share whatever platform you're on. Share it with somebody, let them know what's going on, and especially if you find the conversation fruitful. We are here every Wednesday at 12:30, and thank you again for joining us. So this past week, I had the great privilege to have a conversation with Sara Bogue. And I'm not going to lie, this was the second attempt to have a conversation with her because the first time we tried, the great winds of technical glitches came along and left us with nothing. But nonetheless, we did succeed with the second attempt. And don't worry because you didn't miss anything from the first attempt. We covered it all again, as well as more. And I'm excited about it. So Sara is the assistant principal for the student affairs at Bloomingdale High School. And Sara and her family have been coming to New Hope for quite some time now, probably 10 plus years now. And I really enjoyed this talk because of her perspective as an educator, a leader, but also because she is a mother and a young parent who attends New Hope. So without further ado, let's go to Unscripted with our guest, Sara Bogue. Let me just go ahead and kind of be as transparent as possible. We tried to do this before. Technological glitches happened, and we could not salvage the conversation, which is a shame. So what we're going to do is briefly just kind of go over sort of just like your background one more time. You said that you were from up north.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I grew up in Michigan. My whole childhood there. I graduated from high school from up north. So I'm a Yankee, I guess. So after high school, I went to Anderson University, which is a Church of God university in Indiana. My dad actually took a job teaching there as well. So our whole family moved after high school and studied there and played basketball there. And then after that, I came down to Florida. I had some family here and just, didn't have a whole lot to do or hold me there looking for something new. And so I came down here. That was 15 years ago. I started teaching and coaching at Newsome. I met Jeff, my husband, 2 kids. 15 years later, here we are.
And you bring up something really good because one of the things I wanted to kind of talk with you about is you being a mother. Mother's Day is right around the corner, and I do have some questions about you as a mother.
Okay.
You said you had 2 kids. What
Mhm.
son and daughter, right? Or
Yes. So Carter is our daughter, although often mistaken for a boy because of her name, but
right?
she's our daughter. She's 5, and our son Colton is 1.5.
And before you became a mother, what was I'm sure you had intentions of being a parent one day,
Mhm.
but life was a lot different, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it was.
What is some of the things other than the obvious that you've kind of embraced as far as being a mother?
Oh gosh. Well, I feel like it's kind of I mean, everyone says this, but it's just not all about you anymore. So, I think it just really changes your perspective. It made me appreciate a lot more, my upbringing in the church and just, the things that my parents had instilled just really made me appreciate that and want to, kind of do some of those same things with our children. But the biggest thing was it's not about me anymore. I don't get to
No.
sleep in until 11 and or 12, and I don't get to, decide what I'm doing on a Friday night. It's really about them, which is great and totally fine. But it's a shocker.
Now, when you were becoming a mother for the first time, were you teaching at that point in time?
I was teaching PE and I was coaching basketball. Well, actually, I was coaching swim. I had stopped coaching basketball and I was coaching swim. Mhm.
Did you approach being a teacher and what you went through with your students a little bit differently after you became a mother?
Yeah, I probably had a lot more empathy, just I mean, is that terrible? I'm just gonna keep it real, Chris. But
Why not?
yeah, yeah, I think it just maybe a little more compassion and realizing that kids are dealing with a lot. My kids are little, so they're not dealing with the things that high schoolers are dealing with yet. But kids are kids and they're dealing with emotions, big or small. And so it probably helps me to become a little more empathetic and
Yeah.
compassionate.
Did you ever find yourself at a point in time with your own kids, kind of recalling what your parents did and you sitting there going, oh, I'm just like my mother. Oh, I'm just like my father.
Yes, all the time. Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, you sound just like your mom. And I'm like, that's not such a bad thing anymore. But yeah, yeah, a lot of the just like boundaries and things that, I know that they did with me growing up, which you don't understand obviously as a kid. But yeah, just some of those things you realize now why they didn't let you watch certain things, or, even they're little, so they're not making, big decisions yet, but even just eating candy or whatever it is. It's hard to set those boundaries with them, but you got to do it. And I appreciate my parents for doing that with me. So I had a good example.
I know before I became a parent, I said, boy, I'll never do that with my kids. I'll never speak with them that way or treat a situation like that. And yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of one offhand, but I know those words have come out of my mouth, or that has thought in my in my head. They really knew what they were doing. You were right, mom and dad. You were right. I'm doing it.
Okay, you're an educator. You've been an educator for a long time. What was the one thing about this past year, 2020, that maybe what was the one takeaway that was a positive takeaway for you as an educator?
Um, I think as an educator, or working in the schools, the kids are really resilient. There's a lot going on, and you see both sides. There's both spectrums, but I think one positive thing I've seen is that kids are pretty resilient and they're able to kind of take things as they come, and sometimes better than we do. But and that's been exciting to see. And it's also been, coming back to school this year. And I think I mentioned this before, I'm sure I'll say some of the same things,
That's
but coming
fine.
back to school this year, um just their excitement and they want to be there, they want to be with their friends, they want to be in school. And just seeing that kind of shift in some of those kids who may not have realized how much they needed it or enjoyed it before. And now coming back this year, you can really tell that they appreciated it a bit more. So it's been nice to see that.
And during this whole past year, because it has been a little over a year now, was
Hard.
there a, I know it has. Was there ever a part in the process of just school devising a plan and going about making a plan for everything? Was there ever a moment where pessimism started to set in with you about what was going on or what was happening?
um, I try not to really go there. I'm a pretty mostly positive, try to just stay positive because, otherwise it can be. But I think, going back to the thing that's coming to mind is when we actually started back to school this year. And I'm sure as a parent, you remember the back and forth. Are we e-learning? Are we smart start? Are
Mhm.
we doing this? Are we doing that? And just the back and forth, back and forth. And, we were in the schools and we're trying to make a plan and we couldn't, every time we'd make a plan, we'd get something else. And so we'd make a new plan and then we'd get something else. And then it was a new plan. So it was very, and then I really felt for the teachers because they were getting the same thing. It's like, okay, we have a new plan for you. Oh, now we have a new, and they were trying to, prepare too. And that I think it was a tough time for everybody. It was a tough time because we
Mhm.
just the unknown and just constant changing, and you want to prepare and you want to do what's best for the kids and the teachers and everyone involved and the parents. But it was hard because no one really knew what was going on. I can say that now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
It
and
was
and
tough.
and you even mentioned being a parent and one of the things you took away and kind of brought to being an educator was having more empathy. Can you think of a situation in the past year where that empathy was required for you
Mm.
with a particular student or a situation?
Um, Gosh, that's a good question. I think just in general, because my job now, I'm assistant principal of student affairs, so I deal with any type of behavior issue, discipline issue, and I think just understanding that kids are going through a lot. I can't think of one specific one, but sometimes they just needed someone to talk to. I've had a lot of situations this year where the kids will come in and they've done something, not made the best choice, but there's just more behind. There's more behind that choice than what's going on at home, or maybe a parent lost a job, or they're failing math, or they're this, and just giving them the opportunity to really talk about what's going on. Really, 99% of the time, it's not about doing that one thing. It's all the stuff that's behind it. So just spending the time to talk with them, and I really tried to do that, especially more this year, because I know that there's a lot going on for them.
And you just never know what their day looks like before they get to school either.
You don't know their story unless
It-
you give them a chance to tell you.
and dealing with the affairs and behavioral problems and stuff like that. What's something that's very common throughout this past year, more so than I guess any other problem?
Oh, you mean behavior wise?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, more common because of the pandemic?
yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. You're getting me with some good ones. I was like prepared for the same ones as last time. No,
I told you it's gonna be a little bit different.
no, which is good. Um, I think, and it hasn't, I'm at Bloomingdale. Bloomingdale's a great school. I don't deal with a whole, with some major things, but maybe some like kind of, I don't say outburst, but maybe kind of talking back to a teacher or to a student or something, just kind of managing those emotions. And maybe they might be set off a little quicker than they would before and saying something. But again, majority of the time it's, I know I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, and again, there's a reason for that, but maybe just that on edge just a little bit more than they would have been in the past. So,
Mhm.
but I don't
No,
know.
it makes sense. It makes sense. I think kids are very their reactions. They just don't think about what they're getting ready to do, and especially in
Right.
times like this. It's so
Yeah.
uncertain, and that they carry that uncertainty with them on their sleeve.
Right. Right.
Uh, um, with your faith, it seems like you, in this position at least, practice that really large amount of grace. Do you find yourself looking to your faith when you are doing this particular aspect of your job?
Yeah, I find myself praying for these kids because, they make me cry, but I care about them, and and I want them to do well, and I want, especially when I see kids struggling, I do, yeah, pray for them. Not like in the office to them, but
Right.
just
Yeah.
if I can't do that, but I just kind of do that in my head for them or after they leave. So yeah, I definitely, because we all need it, but I just like to kind of do that. And in the school too, I think it's powerful to pray within the school building, even though no one knows I'm doing it.
Right.
They don't know I'm doing it, but I think just in that space where they are is important.
And I think that I know that because of the situation of a public school that you have to watch yourself with certain things like that. But I'm sure that it's, parents and kids would really appreciate the fact that you would do that. Pray for them.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool. You know,
thanks.
I mean,
Thanks.
if a teacher came up to me and told me that about one of my children, I would just be,
Yeah.
wow, I'm humbled.
Well,
That's
I can
amazing.
tell you if your kid is going to Bloomingdale, I'm praying for them. I'm so.
You don't want my kids to go to Bloomingdale.
Yes, I do.
Okay?
He's right behind you. You better.
um, what brought you into the doors of New Hope a long time ago?
So actually, my husband Jeff was going there, and I was attending Bay Life at the time, which I liked. But Jeff and I started dating, and I had always, I'd grown up in a little bit, Bay Life is a big church. And I had grown up in a bit more conservative church and a smaller church. And so I started attending with him and I really liked it. I mean, it's not a conservative church, but it's a
Yes.
little bit smaller than Bay Life. And so I started attending with him and I love it. So
And it's got to be a kind of a weird dynamic. You're an athlete and he's a musician.
yeah. Yeah.
I guess it makes sense, you know.
Yeah, we got a lot of flack for that when they were like, wait a second. And we're like, opposites attract. It works, it works. We bring out each other's strengths, I guess. He's taught me a lot about musicals. I'd never been to a musical before I met him. So I can appreciate, because a lot of the things he does in chorus are very similar to what I did when I was coaching, so it's really not all that different, but it works.
Well, I'm just curious, what was the first musical?
Oh, In the Heights. In the Heights.
I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with that one.
It's a good one. Yeah. It's a
Mm,
good one. First one he took me to at the Sraz. So
wow.
yeah.
I can see it though, because you both train,
You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
you
And
know.
in the groups, like whether it's a team or whether it's a court, like it's something those kids love, and you can
Yeah.
really build a family in either situation. So yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
works.
great. And what keeps you coming to New Hope? What is it about New Hope that makes you so active? And I always see you out at things that we're trying with, like worship on the lawn. When we used to have the table on Wednesday nights, you used to come out to the table. And I know you have children, so that has to have some sort of what we do as far as an impact.
Yeah, it really does. We attended for quite a few years before we had kids, and we got involved in a small group, a connect group, which we love. And so I think that's an important thing, getting connected, and just the message, that Jamie preaches was just aligned, and now, and when Jamie was there, obviously, and now it just aligns with what we believe, and I think we have a very powerful sermons. Any of you, all of you, when you speak, it's just is very powerful. And now the kids in the children's ministry. I mean, it's just it brings me to tears again because it's just so they just love it. They love it. Carter wants to go to Sunday school every day. I'm like, no, it's regular school today. Sunday school's in 2 days, tomorrow, and she just loves it. And she's reciting Bible verses. And again, I grew up in the church, and I see that that now in her, and I just love that. And they both just love to go there. So it's a huge draw for us now.
What how old is your oldest?
She's 5.
Okay, well they got a few years till the youth program,
Yeah, a few
and
years.
I'll probably be, I don't know.
You never know.
You never know, but you know.
Yeah, you never know.
So what is it like to be a part of a small group, a connect group? You mentioned that, and are you still a part of it, or?
Yeah, we're still a part of the same group. And our leader is Jeff Sheffer, if that tells you anything. So yeah, thumbs up, but also you never know what you're gonna get with Jeff. Love you, Jeff. No, no, so it's just been great. And we're by far the youngest ones in our group, but it actually has been really neat. Like, they've been there for both the kids and they helped us buy our house, and it's been really neat to have that support through our kind of our milestones here. And then just connecting, spiritually, and we meet, every Sunday night, and it's just a great way. I know for me, sometimes you just don't really feel like going, like you're just tired. It's Sunday night, but like I always feel just great when after when you come home and just kind of feel rejuvenated for the week. So it's been powerful, and it's so important in any church, to have that smaller connect group. I mean, you guys know, you guys talk about it all the time, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's been great. It's been wonderful.
And you guys are meeting in person now again.
Last night was we just started back. We had been doing Zoom. And then we'd been going to the worship on the lawn and some other things. But last night was actually our our kickoff to coming back face to face. So we just spent a couple hours chatting, and it was wonderful.
And I have not heard any sort of feedback or response from people doing connect groups or small groups on Zoom. Did that go well for you all? I mean, obvious if you guys kept in connection, but
Yeah, we did it the whole time. It's not like meeting in person, but it was just good to have a check-in and pray for each other. And we did studies, we did videos we'd watch and then talk about. So I mean, it wasn't face to face, but it was pretty good, especially that time when when everyone was really quarantined and you weren't going out at all. Like it was
yeah,
nice to have that connection. So
awesome, awesome.
mm,
Well, to wind up our interview, I want to do something, and maybe you're familiar with it, or I don't know if you're not. But have you ever heard of the James Lipton American Actors Studio?
I don't think so.
Okay, your husband probably knows about it.
I was gonna say he'll have really, Sarah.
Yeah. It was this guy, and he did this sort of a conversation show, and he always ended the show with a handful of questions. So I'm going to randomly ask you these questions, and you're going to give me the best answer that you can.
I told you I'm so bad on the spot, but okay.
You,
I'll
you'll
play.
do. The reason why I'm breaking this out on you is because I know you're going to do good. So
Okay.
I have all the confidence in you. Okay. All right.
Well, let's do it.
Okay. All right. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word, love.
What is your least favorite word?
Oh, um, well, probably the opposite, hate.
I strongly agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, what makes your day?
My family. Spending time with my family.
Do you let anything ruin your day, or is there something that ruins your day?
I try not to. I really try not to. So not often, but not often. Try not to.
Straight answer.
Okay.
What keeps you up at night?
Ooh, what keeps me up at night? Um, well, I go to bed at like 8:30, so you're pushing my bedtime here.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So I
You'll
sleep.
never have to do this again.
Okay, so I think if I have things pending at work that I need to get done or I haven't gotten done, sometimes that can keep me up at night, or thinking about getting up at 4 o'clock to go to go work out keeps me up at night sometimes. But yeah, that's about it.
That works. Um, what sound do you love?
What sound do I love? Probably my kids laughing.
What sound do you not like?
Do I not like? Um, ooh. I don't know. I've never let's see. I could say them crying, but sometimes you just tune that out. Is that terrible? What sound do I not like? I don't know. This breaks when you when someone's going really like if you're going really fast and they squeal because it kind of gives me anxiety like something's gonna get hit. So I don't like that sound.
Yeah, you're noise sensitive.
Yeah, okay.
And last question.
Okay.
What what profession other than the one you are doing would you like to attempt to do?
Oh, that's the worst question because I have never really had any other path. I love what I do. What profession? Hmm. I don't know. You stumped me. Um, I don't know. I can't think of anything. I've done the ones, I coached, I taught, I'm in administration. I couldn't think of anything else I'd rather do, Chris.
Wow. Okay.
I love my job. I really have never thought about doing anything else.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I often tell people I don't need another job because I have the greatest job in the world.
Right. Yeah, I feel the same. I feel
So
the same.
I completely understand and agree with you. So, Sara, thank you so much for doing this and doing this again and
Yeah.
being a part of this. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate your time and what you could offer to us in conversation. I I think that what you're doing out there and how you've managed to just keep it together, especially in senior high school, has just been amazing. So, kudos and thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. This was fun. I enjoyed
Yeah,
both times. Both times I enjoyed it.
good. Well, thank you so much. And if I don't see you, happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
All right. Have a good
Bye.
night. Bye.
You too.
Bye. Thank you again for joining us with Unscripted. We are here every Wednesday at 12:30. Join us next week. We will have our 10th episode. Can you believe it? Wow. So join us. And remember, if you are watching this for the first time, share it with a friend. Let them know what we're talking about. This is some great stuff and great people that we've had the opportunity and privilege to talk to. So we'd like just to share it around. Thank you again, and we'll see you next week on Unscripted.